U.S. Vice President Pence said Beijing is trying to, quote, extend its reach across a wider world in a way that harms world peace. One example, he said, was Taiwan. Let's listen.
Since last year alone, Chinese Communist Party has convinced 3 Latin American nations to sever ties with Taipei and recognize Beijing. These actions threaten the stability of the Taiwan Strait, and the United States of America condemns these actions.
Switching diplomatic recognition from Taipei to Beijing, that's what the U.S. itself did in 1979. In a series of joint statements known as the 3 communiques, Washington explicitly said, and I quote, "The United States of America recognized the government of the People's Republic of China as the sole legal government of China, and it acknowledges that the Chinese position that there is but one China and Taiwan is part of China." Even Vice President Pence recognized that.
While our administration will continue to respect our one China policy, as reflected in the 3 joint communiques and the Taiwan Relations Act,
experts say the current administration can pay lip service to its one China policy all it wants, but what Mike Pence did was to condemn other countries for doing exactly what the U.S. has done. Pence also repeated Donald Trump's inflammatory charge of Chinese meddling in U.S. midterm elections.
China is meddling in America's democracy. As President Trump said just last week, we have, in his words, found that China has been attempting to interfere in our upcoming midterm elections. Last week, the Chinese government paid to have a multi-page supplement inserted into the Des Moines Register, the paper of record of the home state of our ambassador to China, and a pivotal state in 2018 and 2020.
It is true that China Daily bought pages for placement in the Des Moines Register, and it is true that the U.S. granted relative freedom of speech so that China Daily was able to do that. But does expression of different views through news media constitute election meddling? Let's listen to what a former top official from the Obama administration had to say.
I am very puzzled by why he would say that, because the advertisement is very clearly designated as having been developed and paid for by the China Daily, which is clearly labeled as an organ of the People's Republic of China. So there's nothing disguised about it. It's not covert. It's quite clear who developed it, who paid for it, and who put it in the paper. So it's information that China is supplying to people who read the paper, and it's not designed to be covert or using any kind of digital technology. It's very, very clearly open in the press. And other people express their views in the American press. That's one of the benefits of the First Amendment. Countries have done this for years, taken out ads in the paper to convey information that they would like to convey. People can read it, they can agree with it, they can disagree with it. It's up to them.
In terms of foreign influence, according to the Center for Responsive Politics, a leading U.S. policy watchdog agency, the top 5 foreign governments that try to influence U.S. policies and opinions are South Korea, Japan, the United Arab Emirates, Israel, and Ireland. Observers point out that as U.S. allies, those countries have not received the criticism or public naming and shaming as China has, which comes in 6th on the list. Wang Guan, CGTN, Washington.